Complete Jira Software tutorial, how to use Jira for beginners. Hey everyone, in today's video, I will be giving you guys a detailed tour into the Jira software, which allows you to manage your project, whether those be in software, marketing, IT, design, or operations. It's made for complex projects, especially, and you can even use it for your simple tasks. Plus, Jira has now suggested or integrated suggestive AI into their tool, which can help you in making your tasks easier. Plus, you can also do multiple different projects all in one account on Jira. So let's jump right in. But before we get started with Jira, we first need to understand what exactly is Jira meant for because it's slightly different with comparison to things like Trello or things like ClickUp, which are basic project managers. So, what is Jira? Jira is a high level project manager, which was specifically initially designed for agile processes. So, agile processes are processes in which first you have the functionality of your software. So, agile processes were usually referred to for software development, where you would first assess the functionality of a software, then you would plan it, then implement it, and then test it and review it. That is an agile process. And this would come under the umbrella of software development, which you can see is listed as a primary project management scheme with Jira. But you can easily use this for any other type of project management as well. So let's get started with Jira. To get started, head on over to atlassian.com/software/Jira and then click on Get Jira for free. Now, the best part about this is that you can get started for free and you don't have to pay anyone for up to 10 users. If your team does exceed the 10 user limit, you would have to upgrade to a premium plan on Jira. Now, once you've done that, it's time to enter your email and you're just going to enter your work email and then click on sign up. Once you click on sign up over here, you will be led to the next screen, which is going to be your sign in screen. I have created my account, so I will just be signing in. But if you don't have an account already, you will be signing up and providing some basic verification. So over here in our sign up, you first have to decide your site name. So your site name is going to be taken from your Atlassian email that you provide, but your site name might be different. You might have a random email. So let's say that I want my site name to be lilydavis.atlassian.it. Now that is not going to work. So I'm going to use Lily Davis like this. And once I've done that, I can click on agree and start now. Now let's proceed into our Jira account. So once you have entered the name that you want to use for your URL, you're going to choose in what type of project management way would you like to get started. First off, you have general project management, and then you have Scrum, where you have sprints, and using a Scrum framework basically means going for a timeline. So you have, dependencies, blockages by certain tasks, and more. Then you have business collaboration. Business collaboration usually is more so in a calendar format where you have different types of businesses you might be working with. So it's primarily focused on providing the best timing. So for this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on project management. Simply select it and then click on Start Now. So once you click on Start Now, your dashboard on Jira will now be loaded up. You can proceed with your first project. So let's say our first project is going to be for our software. Let's say this is going to be our software for call recording software. And after that, I'm going to add if I'm familiar with Jira or not. And just like that, our first project will be built. And you can see your project from the top panel over here, where you will be able to see your work, any of the projects you're in, filters, dashboards, teams, plans, and apps. Now, I have opened up the space for this particular project, and in your project on the left, you'll see a timeline, a board, and then a list, issues. Issues are basically tasks. Then you also have add view, where you can add another type of view. So, how can you customize this? Because let's say that you have different types of issues or different types of dependencies. That is going to be really variable. So, to actually add those, we're going to go into project settings on the bottom left. And once you go into project settings, you're going to find the key. So, for the key, which basically means the basic term that is going to be used in shorthand to refer to your particular project. I'm going to make it an acronym for CRS. Then we have the category. So you can actually manage the categories that this is present in, then the project lead as well. Then click on save. Once you click on save, you have your access, notifications, automations. These are not necessary to monitor right now, but what is necessary is your issue types. So once you go into issue types, it's really, really, really important to understand this. You have two primary issue types. You have an epic, which is to track collections of related issues or tasks. And then you just have tasks, which are very small, distinctive pieces of work. These are two different things in Jira. This was built specifically for software management. So tasks and epics are different and they can have different requirements in any type of field. So if I want an epic can have an assignee, label, parent, start date, end date. Let's say it can also have a checkbox in it. So I can add the field name, which might be tasks of the epic. And then after that, I can add options like this. And then I can just click on Save Changes. Now, this is totally customizable, and you can even delete the type of task if it is not relevant to your particular industry. To do that, simply click on Epic and then click on these three dots on the top right, and then you can click on Delete Issue Type. Now, with any type of task, there are more fields that you can add for further detail to be provided. This can be especially helpful in epics, which can seem pretty long, and you can add different fields to have a deeper understanding. So instead of just having an assignee, I want to have a team that is linked to this task. And after that, I might want to change the assignee field. So I'll remove the assignee and I will go on ahead and scroll. And maybe instead of an assignee, I want this to be a project lead, but I can't customize this. So I will have to remove this for the time being. Now, I might want to add a short text instead of, the project lead. I'll just add project lead. And then this is going to be name of the lead. And then after that, I'm just going to make this required. And just like that, I have a new field where there needs to be one person that is set as the project lead in any epic. Once you have made all the customizations and changes to your epic or issue type, click on Save Changes on the bottom right, and then let's move on to our task. Now, tasks are very well defined already in Jira, so I don't find there to be a large necessity to add more info. But if you want, you can add things like labels as well as checkboxes into tasks if those are your preferences. But tasks already do have a subtask option, so people can add subtasks within a task that are going to be further detailing what entails. Now you can add more issue types, and these are different. So these can either be bugs, which are very well defined, which means to track any problems or errors in your software, or stories. Stories track the features that are expressed as user goals. Now, what does that mean? So let's say I have a call recording software that I'm trying to develop. Now, a story might be to have a call recording software that also records screen activity. That's a user end goal that they want. So I can add that as a story. These are your own personal preferences if you want to add those or not. For most other types of project management, they're not going to be necessary. So we're going to leave those out for now. Now, moving on towards the second setting, which is our features. Now, features are another thing that you need to customize before you can get started with setting up your project, and that includes backlogs. So, backlogs are really important to turn on because without backlogs, you're not able to create sprints. So, sprints are basically to accomplish work in a certain amount of time. So I like to turn on backlogs and sprints, and these are the only customizations I usually make over here. You can go down into development, but I don't find that to be necessary. You can just proceed with sprints, and you can also add expectations or estimations where you have a expected effort or expectation of how much effort plan and tracking planning timing is going to go into a certain tasks. Now, once we have completed this, I am also going to turn on reports. And now let's move forward towards our board settings. Now, in your board settings, you have your basic columns and filters, and you have unassigned tasks, you have in progress and done. We can customize that from the front end, so I can leave these out. You have your card cover images, timelines, and insights, all of which can be customized later. So let's move back into our project and let's get started with setting up our call recording software management. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on issues and get started with creating issues. To do this, you can click on the create button on the top and you can create a new task. Or if you want, you can go on ahead and take a look at some of the issues over here. And if you want, you can also view them in the form of a list. You can filter them out as well. And you can also click on more to see more information about pre-existing issues. Now, moving back into our timeline, let's see the customizations that can be necessary over here. So over here, we can create an epic that can be set for a certain duration. Then you have a can backlog, and in your backlog, you can go on ahead and start creating issues, and you can select the issue type. So this can be a task, this can be a story. You can click on add, and you can add stories over here as well. You can add another type of issue such as bugs, and you can add all of these all in one place and then later on set due dates. So let's say this is going to be to create a code for a non-detectable call recorder like this. And then let's say I have a story where a story is obviously a larger task. So in my story, I might want to create a deal or unlimited use like this. So whatever you are going to do, you can add those tasks in your backlog and you can also create a sprint so they will be logged. Now, after that, if you take a look at your can board, this is an empty can board and we can go on ahead and configure this as well to customize these statuses that it is going to display. So because I have turned on sprints, I can't directly work in my board, but if you find this to be annoying, that your sprints are not allowing you to work in your can board, you can always go back and remove your sprints. Or you can always go into list and then click on create and add your tasks, epic, stories, or bugs. So you can add a assignee, a due date, and if you find that you left out some information, you can go on ahead and select that from here like this. You can add whatever info you want. And after that, you can also add labels as well as updates and reporters. Now, let's move on towards project pages. So, on the bottom, you have project pages where you can add things such as product requirements, design decisions, meeting notes, retrospectives, and more. These are really important parts of any project because they are going to help you in defining whether or not your project is going on a track or not. Now, after that, let's take a look at some of the other features provided by Jira. This includes the integration of other applications such as Slack, EasyBI, Big Picture, and you can click on Explore More Apps to find different types of integrations available for Jira. Now, this is primarily focused on a call recording software. To make this easier for generalized people to understand, where you're not focusing on a software development project, if you are looking to create a new project, we're going to create a new project and you will see that you have project templates on Jira. So you don't actually have to do the hassle of setting everything up initially. You can customize your pre-existing templates to your own personal preferences. So you will see on the left, you have multiple different types of niches or categories. In these niches or categories, you can choose what type of project you want to create. So, if I want to create a HR based project manager, if I want a personal project manager, facilities, IT, analytics, legal, and much more is covered. Let's say I want project management or work management, and I want a simple project manager. You also have very simple project management templates available under work management. These are super general, so you can really customize this into any project that you are doing. You can see there are so many templates under one niche. So you can track activities and tasks. You can have new employee onboarding, task tracking. You also have project management. If we are doing marketing, we have project management, go to market, content management, HR, finance, design. So let's say we are looking for a marketing template. And after that, I want to do content management. And yeah, I think I'm going to do content management over here. So we are going to click on content management over here. And you will see, although initially the templates look the same, when you start using them and going into the depth of each template, they are very variable. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name my marketing project, which might be Bose or Pink Sapphire Marketing. And then after that, I'll click on Create Project. And if you want high customization, you can always begin with a blank template as well. Now, once I've done that, I've created this new project, and you will see because this is a marketing project, it looks really different from the get go as compared to our software management tool because the primary differences lie in the use for these project managers. For software development, those features are necessary, while for project management for marketing, some features are not necessary, and you can include the ones only that are going to be required by your team. You can also go into your project settings on the top right to further customize your issue types as we did previously. So in our project over here, we've added assets instead of our bugs or our stories that would be in software management. We have assets, a digital or physical item to be tracked. So let's proceed with setting up our marketing over here. Now, the first section is a to do, then draft, then in review, and then approved. Now, first off, I want to customize this a little by going into the different fields that it has. So let's go on ahead and move towards this column. And I want to create a new column, which is going to be ideas. And this is going to be in the to do status. And I'll just click on add. And I want to basically have a blank section for all the ideas to be poured in. I'll hold this and move this towards the left. And I want this to be the first thing that comes to people's minds. And we can also drag and drop any of the columns that we have like this. And now I can expand this over here. Now from here, I can add different types of ideas that are being, thrown around in your office. So instead of having to lose track of all of the progress you've made or all of the ideas you have, you will now be able to see what can be done with the ideas. And then you can make them a reality by turning them into actionable tasks under to dos. Now you will see I only have assets as a type of task, and that is fine for a marketing firm. So let's say that the first thing that needs to be done is to find good, let's say it is to develop a strategy for launching our bows on our website like this. And this is our first idea. So we want to develop a strategy. Now, if I open this up, I can link issues together by clicking on link issue, and I can add a blocked by, blocks is cloned by, duplicated by, or relates to. Now, what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this is maybe to manufacture, or let's say the second thing is to develop Insta shots for our bows like this. And now until I have a picture of the bows, I can't develop a strategy to launch them on our website. So I will simply click on this and then click on link issue. And if they are not blocking each other, if they're only related, I can only add them as relation, as a relation because it can help in understanding what type of tasks are linking to each other. And this is really important because if you don't understand that two tasks are meant to be done side by side, then you might actually end up, doing half a task and realizing, hey, I was supposed to do the other half with that as well. For any of your team members that are there, for any of the other people working with you, it's going to be easier to see what other tasks relate to this that need to be completed. So once your ideas go into a to-do, it will be moved here, then into drafts, and then they would be reviewed in the next column. And in this way, different tasks can be approved. And let's say the Insta shots were not approved. So for that, I will add another status called rejected ideas. And this will be a done status, and I will click on submit. And once we have created that, let's say I will move this into rejected ideas. So now I have a column of all of the things or ideas that we have rejected. And a lot of people think that is not important, but that can be important if in the future you ever have to come back to see what type of things your marketing firm or whatever project manager you're using this for might have rejected. Now, this is just a board. If you want a summary of the overall project, you can click on summary over here. Then you also have a list view. You also have a calendar view, and if you take a look at the calendar view, you can click on unscheduled, and any of the tasks that are labeled as unscheduled, you can schedule them in the calendar here. Then you also have your timelines, and timelines can be a great way for you to see different dependencies and see what task is supposed to happen when. So if I set a task over here like this, let's say this task is meant to be completed from here to here. Obviously, these are really large days, but if you want, you can also zoom into today. And instead of it being labeled in weeks, you can label it in months, you can label it in weeks. And you can, make a task one day or it's meant to be completed in 4 days. Like this, you can set up different tasks. Now, after that, you have approvals, and approvals are important for things where where you're going to have a hierarchy. So you can click on Setup Approvals and choose a workflow, then choose a status. So let's say these are going to be approved or in review. Click on Continue. But when things are in review, they would be marked as something that needs a approval. So we are going to stay and then click on update workflow, click on save. And once we do that, we can see our approvals here. Now, moving on to the next section, we have forms, and forms are going to allow you to collect information within your institution or project. And you can also see and streamline any type of requests that you are receiving. You can create employee wellness forms, you can create suggestion forms, and any other type of form that could be relevant to your niche, depending on the industry that you are in. Next up, you have pages as we had in our software development tool. Now, obviously, product requirements are going to be variable here because instead of a software being our product, we actually have content and advertising. So you still can modify these pre-existing tools in Jira to fit your personal needs. Next up, you will see a section for attachments where all of the attachments present within a project will be displayed. It makes it so much more easier to access all your files. I cannot tell you guys the amount of times I've had to look for a certain file in a project manager and I had to scroll through all the tasks to finally find that attachment. Instead of that, now you have a separate attachments tab that is going to show all the attachments added to any issue within your project. Then you also have your issues that are going to be displayed, and then reporting. Reporting is really important because depending on what type of pace you're going with your project, what type of goals you're setting, what milestones you expect to achieve, you want to know where you are lying. So, in terms of reports, you have things like different charts, forecasts, and management charts as well, created versus resolved issues, pie chart reports, and you can understand a lot on the basic time it's taking for you and your team to accomplish their tasks. You can also click on this plus icon to add more views or remove any view that is not necessary for you. If I have approvals and I can click on remove, it will now be removed. I have this shortcut, I need to remove that, I can remove that. I don't want a separate tab for my issues because it is already listed under my board and list views. I can remove that as well and only keep views that are necessary for us. Now, on the top, we can also filter different issues and create a dashboard. Now, what is the purpose of a dashboard? So, I can make a CEO dashboard, and dashboards are usually created for guests or outsiders where they are going to be able to view your organization in a more filtered manner. And you should be able to add different gadgets to display certain metrics that you are achieving. Now, other than that, you can also create a team, and teams can be for your marketing team, your HR team, your software development team. All of these can be added over here to further help you in ensuring that your teams are designated within the right projects within Jira. Now, after that, we also have plans, and you can create a plan to optimize the workflow of your tasks. This basically is just a simplified version of a project manager. And then you have other applications that you can explore and add to your Jira project manager. Depending on the niche, you might have time trackers, timers, payroll managers that you might want. So that is all you need to know about Jira and Jira's project management tool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and by following the steps provided in this tutorial, you will now be able to set up your own project on Jira very easily and very effectively. Plus, the best part about using Jira is that it is free for up to 10 users, which includes unlimited projects, goals, tasks, and forms, reports and dashboards, backlogs, and more, with over 100 automations per site per month. Then for $7.16, you can set up user roles and permission with multi-region data residency, 1,700 automations, and 250 gigabytes of storage. Then for $12.48, you have cross-team planning and dependency management. So even if you're working in the same business, so you have a large corporation and you have multiple different teams such as marketing and HR, instead of them working completely separately in different projects, you can actually have planning and dependency of tasks across different projects. Then you also have customizable approval processes and 24/7 support for critical issues and unlimited storage. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will catch you guys in the next video.